Kickstarter. A great way to get funding for your brand new project or idea. Some Kickstarters are widely successful, while others are a hilarious way to get mocked by the entire internet. You stupid. Video games are far from the exception. We got some of the most acclaimed games out of Kickstarter, like Shovel Knight, and then you have
stuff that'll make you faster and stronger and make the bad guys cry like an anime fan on prom night.
Mega Man was never the same when he made the transition to 3D. Shantae Half-Genie Hero was one of the first ones I've contributed to, and I was pretty excited to try out the new game with a brand new art style.
I've actually done a video about this game a few years ago back on my other channel, but I think I can do a lot better, and since there's been a lot of content, might as well make a new video just to make it a little more current. Kinda makes me wonder when I'm gonna get to the other videos.
Shantae wakes up to a mysterious voice and locates the origin of the voice down in MAGIX basement. The voice tells Shantae of an imminent danger to the genie realm, and before she gets any more information, Shantae wakes up. From then on, the story kinda splits in half. With one half having you collect components from MAGIX's new invention, the Dynamo, and the other half is what I can only classify as a collection of Monster of the Week encounters. You deal with Risky, the Four Barons, and Scuttletown's new Half-Genie. Oh yeah, Shantae also gets fired again for not keeping the town safe. And if you think I'm being too vague, I'm sorry to say that's about as much as you're gonna get. There are some small details like fighting the Animal Baron at a carpet race, or Techno Baron making fake mermaids out of innocent maidens so it can keep making monster chow. Wow, that's freaking disturbing, but he's still a little bitch. The Dynamo doesn't really get too interesting either. You have to do a lot of fetch quests to get what you need, and I feel like it completely kills the pace. And that's even more frustrating when you realize how short the game really is. The game is seriously 3 to 4 hours long if you go for every collectible. This game lacks so much content, and when it came out, this was all it really had. And it was, and I still think it is, $20. Way too much for what little there is. I mean, the visuals and soundtrack are stellar, the hand-drawn models are lovely, making the game look bright and bursting with life. And the backgrounds are made with 3D models, which at the very least they don't clash with the character sprites, so it's not a huge issue. This actually wasn't Wayforward's first take with this art style. That would be DuckTales Remastered, which was another wonderfully beautiful game with very little content. However, that game was a remake of an NES game compared to Half-Genie Hero, which is a brand new entry to an already existing series, so it really doesn't excuse the short length. The gameplay is about the same as the other games. You can whip with your hair, transformations come back to animals, and now even objects by dancing like the first two games. But it's way more streamlined this time. Just press the dance button and hit the D-pad when you see the transformation you want. I'll probably be the only person who will miss the original way of transforming, but it does keep the game at a brisk pace. And really, that's objectively more important. You have a lot more transformations here, and they have plenty more thanks to the updates and DLC. Every previous animal returns, along with a crab, which is a lesser mermaid, a bat, which is a lesser harpy, and a mouse, which is lesser altogether. Seriously, I can't remember a single time this thing was mandatory to complete the game, outside of backtracking to Tasseltown. And you get it as a reward for beating a boss. Eat my ass. At least the crab was a different size so you can squeeze through tight passages, and the bat had a set path unlike the harpy's loose movements. Actually, no, the bat was optional too, never mind. And the spider is also optional, which is kind of odd. It was kind of fun in the first game, and it had potential to be fun here as well, but no, it's rarely utilized. You do have other novelty transformations that are available to purchase or trade by this lovely lady named Nikki. I mean, you can get some Mega Potions, though there's no reason to with the low difficulty. But at least you get transformations like the Jug Pot and Dryad that exchange magic for gems and health items respectively, the latter being super useful at the beginning. Since launch, 2 transformations were included. The first one I want to talk about is this adorable Sophia the Third transformation to basically promote Blastomaster Zero. It works about as similar as it did in that game, and it's really cool and really fun, I love it. Shantae also got a playable appearance in Blastomaster Zero, so that was also really neat. The other transformation is actually kind of interesting. Remember when I briefly mentioned the Tinkerbat transformation in the first game? Well, it actually returns in this game, but initially it was a reward for backers back then. Now it's included in the Ultimate Edition, and it's been majorly nerfed. Instead of being an amalgamation of most of the transformations back then, it only has a quick slash and a pretty underwhelming double jump. Certainly disappointing, but it's still cool to see it come back. Can't really say much else though, it's the traditional Shantae formula otherwise, but this wasn't the last of what we would get. Half-Genie Hero got plenty of paid expansions and a couple of free updates. Along with Sophia the Third, the game was also updated with Jammies mode. This mode is kinda, sort of an epilogue to the main game, as Shantae wants to thank everyone with a sleepover. The concept is cute, though why she wants to invite all the bosses is beyond me. Risky has a point, Shantae, it's kinda suspicious. Also keep in mind every expansion is just a campaign with specific twists, just to make sure I'm not getting redundant. The moveset is overly simplified, with you being able to fly with a cloud, which might I add is unbelievably adorable. And you beat everyone with a pillow. Seriously, this does so much damage, but it does kind of make sense over time. However, this mode has one flaw, which it actually shares with most of the expansions. For the most part, it's the same as the campaign, and certain parts, like this auto-scroller at Tasseltown, are uncomfortable to go through. These movesets are not built with this kind of design, and this part in particular can piss right off. This exact part made me stop playing this mode, as well as the beach mode. Now we're getting into the costume pack, and this mode is kinda neat. Shantae is going out for her town, but she forgot her sunscreen, so while going through, she has to collect some bottles so she doesn't burn. She's also got this bubble that functions identically to the cloud in Jammies mode, and it also has the problems that it comes along with it. If it weren't for that, I would really enjoy this mode a lot, but oh well. Next up is Ninja mode. Think of this mode working similar to the classic Ninja Gaiden games. You can cling on walls, throw shurikens, and teleport with the press of a button. Actually, that last one doesn't really apply, but it's ninja-like anyway, so that's all that matters. Despite the fun idea, it's kinda clunky in my opinion. I swear the wall cling can be very finicky at times, and the fast movement speed also contributes to that sluggish control. That one is hard to explain, but it does make things quite frustrating, especially... yeah, you get my point. The last mode in the pack is Officer Mode, a mode based on another one of Wayforward's IPs, Mighty Switch Force. If you've never heard of it, it's a puzzle game where you have to switch between different platforms at the press of a button, while also collecting criminals. It's really fun and addicting, and I'd say that translates well in this mode. You can shoot with your blaster and collect criminals in the form of all the females in the series. That's actually kind of a cute touch. But you can't touch water, so that's kind of an annoyance. I'd say this mode is the best one of the four. It has the challenge without any of the bullshit, and it also contains Mighty Switch Force music. Yeah, I know it's biased, but I don't care, this mode is good, and the only costume mode that I was able to beat, so yeah. Can I say that another problem is the collectibles? What is the point of the Dream Squids? They are 100% pointless, and getting all of them is certainly not worth the stupid credit card at the end. Especially the 100% speedruns. Ugh, you people are psychotic. You couldn't make them upgrade tokens or something, you know, similar to another campaign that I'll get to later. Now let's just make them cute things just for the sake of cute things, because look at them. Look at them. Anyway, press to the end. This mode was actually a stretch goal during the Kickstarter, and it barely got there when it ended. Unfortunately, it didn't make it to the final game, and honestly, I kinda wish it was implemented in the main story, if not to give that some more proper game time. And I think it would have made the ending a lot more impactful. After getting corrupted by the dynamo thanks to Risky, Skybolo and Roddy Tops get sucked into Shantae's mind in order to free her from the corruption. While they do bicker at each other during the campaign, they do need to cooperate in order to help their friend. I've always liked these kind of dynamics, the parties putting their differences aside in order to achieve a common goal, which is actually a dynamic in Pirate's Curse now that I think about it. And they do mature in the course of the campaign, giving them some lovely character development. While they do go over the same locations, there is a story reason and it actually ends in a unique location. Though I wish the locations themselves had different level designs. And while some set pieces do change, they really don't feel like it's enough. It would have been interesting to start with the familiarity at the beginning, but twist certain locations by incorporating the other levels inside as well as the dark magic becoming more common as the adventure persists, making it feel like an actual nightmare. Despite all of that, each of the characters feel really distinct and makes traversing the familiar locations feel at the very least different. And unlike the other modes, you actually get to heal up when you can, though health extensions would have been a nice option, I'm just saying. And like I said, those Stream Squids would have been the perfect opportunity and you just squandered it. But, speaking of upgrades, I've saved the best for last. Pirate Queen's Quest. This mode lets you control the one and only Risky Boots after corrupting our half-struggling hero and taking off with the dynamo. However, she needs other components to make it more powerful, so she goes over to collect them. While you do pillage the same locations, at least you can do them in any order you want. Kinda like Mega Man. Take notes with a sequel, you mini number nut. You do start off with a lousy pistol, but while going through, you will collect some dark magic to use for upgrades, as well as magic crystals for the dynamo, and after each boss, you get new equipment for Risky thanks to her Tika Bats, most of them being tools from Pirate's Curse. Once finally upgraded, yeah, it feels like playing an HD Pirate's Curse, which is very, very nice, I tell you what. This may sound biased, but this is my favorite mode in the entire game. Yeah, even better than the main adventure. Every collectible feels important, every weapon is fun to use, the story is really interesting in Risky's point of view. Good lord, this scene in particular cracks me up. Ouch! Man, this mode is so good. It's definitely worth the $10 in my opinion. Though you can get the Ultimate Edition, which does go for $30. That is easier to swallow if you want to try out all the modes, and it's better than buying each separately. but I can't really recommend everything in this package. The risky mode and Press to the End are good supplements to the main adventure, but the costume modes, I wasn't a big fan of them, except for Officer mode because I am a biased piece of shit. At least don't get the main game alone, and yes, you can get this game standalone if you so desire, but it is objectively the worst option, nowhere near worth the 20 bucks. I stay cautious on buying it otherwise, though I'd rather you spend it on 7 Sirens.
So you know what? Despite its lack of content, it's not that bad of a game, and I can certainly respect it for what it did for Kickstarter games in general. But there is a new game out, and it looks like it's going to give us that new content. A lot of things that this game really didn't give us. So we'll just look at that next time, I guess. I still don't know how to end these videos.